Well, hello. Welcome to the Montessori Mic, a podcast where we talk everything Montessori, from the method itself, the way in which it's implemented in schools, at home, in communities, and even in different parts of the world. I'm your host, Tatenda, here in Denver, Colorado. I've had the privilege of traveling around the world where people are trying to understand Montessori and find themselves implementing their own cultures, in their own languages, in different settings. So we have created a platform where we get to really bring those stories to you, guests, people who are also interacting with Montessori as teachers, policymakers, elders, parents, students. We are going to every week bring you those conversations right here at the Montessori Mic. Today, we are going to start with the story of how did I get into Montessori. So I want to take you back to 2008, where I had the privilege to be in China and invited to a Montessori school. Mind you, I'm from Zimbabwe. I had no idea what Montessori was. I was just a 21-year-old in Beijing during the Olympics. So I went because I was curious, but also I just wanted to see what that was, that they thought that I could also come and see and give a little bit of what I thought about this learning style. One thing that really shocked me as I walked into that Montessori classroom that one afternoon in Beijing was something that I grew up with on the other side of the world in Zimbabwe as play, on the other side of the world in China. It was a structured way of learning, a method called Montessori, something being implemented to guide learning for young learners. So I had a shock. I was like, what is this? Right? But then I was curious. So I observed. One thing that you learn very soon in Montessori, teachers sit and observe learning. That's how they teach. That's how they guide that learning. So I remember very well in my 2.5 hours of being at that school, trying to understand who was the teacher, where was the teacher. I had grown up in Zimbabwe where the teacher is always in front of you, right? With a whiteboard, with a blackboard. But here I was in an environment where I could barely see where the teacher was. She literally was serving in the periphery, right? The students were very busy, engaged in their work, asking adults who were in that environment how to do an activity. And I just sat, and a little Tatenda in me thought about what if I had had this growing up in Zimbabwe. Suddenly, I could have been flying planes, right? So I got sold. I was like, yes, I want to learn more. I really wanted to understand what this learning was about that created this magic where learners as young as 3, 4, 5 were very independent and could really own their own learning, and teachers were very much aware of how they were playing a role in guiding that learning, not leading in the front, but literally next to the child, next to the learner. So that one afternoon changed my whole trajectory. I will tell you a story in which my own mother, I had to call her and tell her that I had found this new thing that I was very interested to learn. And she said, go for it. I've always known you to be a teacher. Parents, mothers, we'll get into it. The role that parents play in forming who we are as educators, or even creating the first learning environment that is home. But for me, that one day in Beijing was everything that I needed to align to get me into what has become 20 years later, something that I wake up to every day and has become a passion and an interest and an investment in seeing that not only this thing is experienced on the other side of the world, but literally everywhere, even in my very own mother country, Zimbabwe, where we are doing awesome work in trying to situate Montessori. Again, do not forget to follow the child as you follow this channel. See you again next time.